You'll know Shaun Micallef from his satirical news show Mad as Hell on the ABC. But Mr Micallef is far from a one-trick pony. His new book is called The President's Desk. It's written in the style of, listen to this, comic historic narrative non-fiction. It's a collection of little-known factoids about the different American presidents, and Shaun Micallef joins me now.
Well, thank you very much. Can I just add to the debate about...
Please, let's start.
Well, I had three sisters.
Yep.
And I would often use their Barbie dolls as guns. They were very malleable, and you could turn it. The leg would be the barrel. So I think the marketing is a very small part of it, because the toys all end up broken in a box,
right?
And you just build them
headless if they're Barbies
headless,
usually.
That's
right. Yeah, that's right. So you wouldn't have to worry about the gun with a wig issue. All right, now get back to your book.
Well, very similar approach. I've always been fascinated by the idea of American history.
Yes.
By the idea of it, because I don't know anything about it.
Because you've never been there.
Never been
now,
there.
Now, you described America as like some distant, dangerous, beautiful and slightly backward cousin.
That's a level of literary writing that there's in it.
Yes. But so what makes you want to visit that cousin? If you've never been there, but visited in your mind.
Well, visiting in my mind is fine. That's easy. I can go to Bedford Falls in It's a Wonderful Life, and that for me is America. Beautiful black and white, small town. And I don't want to go over to the real America because I feel like that would spoil it for me.
Right.
So it's perfect in my imagination. And so therefore I've written an alternate history of America. And I've improved on reality in the way that all good art should improve on reality. And I think people will enjoy that. It'll be the textbook for people who just choose not to go to America in real life. It's cheaper.
It's the fantasy.
It is. Yeah, the fantasy. They've been peddling this fantasy of their own, or a number of different versions of the fantasy of America, of assimilation, the fantasy of assimilation. At least I'm calling a spade here. I'm admitting that it's all a fantasy, and hopefully it's got a few more jokes in it than the real thing.
And of course, what you talk about is America or the presidents through the eyes of the most famous piece of furniture in America.
Again, it's another first. Another
first.
I don't think any book has been written.
What can we learn from a desk that we haven't learnt before about the presidents of America?
Well, that's a very good question, one for which I have no answer. I mean, really, the desk is a convenient bit of grout. It's a bit of grout for each chapter, which is on each member of the presidency since about 1855, when the desk came to be. Very interesting history, this desk.
Yes.
Have you been? You would have been to America, I would think.
I have been to America.
Very well travelled.
Yes.
You've probably been in the Oval Office.
Yes. No, I have not. No,
been in the White House? Went on the tour?
No.
You can't get on anymore if you're a foreigner.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you have to be American?
You have to be American. You have to have a congressman or woman.
Shaun, I've got a question. I really need to get right to the heart of this. What's the most interesting thing the desk has ever seen? I'm sitting here on the edge of my seat.
Well, and look, the thing is, the bedrock of this book is true. There's some fanciful sedimentary layers on top of it to amuse us, to plant our imagination into. But the reality was that after John F. Kennedy was, I don't know if you heard about this, he didn't survive a trip to Dealey Plaza in Dallas.
A vague recollection of that.
But LBJ sent the desk on a tour of the United States, and this is true as a sort of national healing. It visited every town and every city in America. His desk, I'm assuming on the back of a flatbed truck. I didn't look into it too deeply, but apparently it visited everywhere. That's an odd idea, a very strange thing to do. Apparently when Elvis died, his Cadillac went around the States, but that sort of makes sense to me because it's got wheels, you can drive it. I don't think the president's desk has coasters, so there was no reason for it to visit these other cities.
It was like a talisman, maybe. Jane had a question for you.
Jane.
Yes. No, my question was simply, what have you unearthed, or what did the desk witness of the sex lives of presidents? JFK, of course, is renowned for an interesting sex life.
That's very true. That's very true. Well, we all remember that picture of JFK, don't we, with John under the desk with the little door open.
Yes.
That door is called a modesty door. That was put in by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who didn't like people looking at his legs.
Well, he was in a wheelchair.
He was in a wheelchair, and they didn't like. He was very sensitive about that. I don't think people didn't know that he was in a wheelchair.
I think it's so interesting that it's called a modesty door. I'm thinking, was there a very well hung president that needed a door to cover himself up?
Well, he said it was his legs. I don't know. This is. Anyway, the desk will never know because the desk had a door in it. It's like wearing an eye patch. The desk could never see exactly what everyone was looking at when they were... Could FDR have been so dull that people would just drift off and look down at his socks? Very nice boots. Jane.
You're right, but he concealed it and he couldn't have it in another era. I mean, that's what's astonishing.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
But the press was much better behaved, I think,
They
during
were much
his
better
time.
behaved.
Don't you think?
Yes, but there
all
are a
those
few
affairs too. All the
affairs,
presidents
a
had.
lot of
Really
stuff, sex scenes in
unreported.
here.
That's what I'm interested in. The
It's a
gossip.
family book. I didn't put any sex in
You
it.
just have to flip it open and there's Coolidge losing his pants, Queen Victoria.
Well, she
you
wasn't
know.
a nymphomaniac.
Yes, there's
Put
an
that in there.
nymphomaniac.
So we're finding out.
Yes, yes.